All right, so if you think digital forensics is just some guy in a hoodie furiously typing on a glowing keyboard to find the bad guy in 60 seconds flat, well, we're about to go a whole lot deeper. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the meticulous, high-stakes world of real digital investigations. Let's get into it.
So picture this, a massive company gets hacked. We're talking terabytes of data just gone. Customer info, trade secrets, the whole shebang. And the attackers, they're like ghosts in the machine. They've just vanished. So where do you even begin an investigation like that?
Well, the answer starts right here with something called digital forensics. You can think of it as CSI, but for your computer, your phone, the cloud, everything digital. It's the science of hunting for clues in that digital world. And it's not just about finding the evidence, it's about doing it methodically, preserving every last bit of data, and making sure it'll actually hold up in a court of law. Okay, so let's start with our first section, the crime scene itself. But, forget the yellow tape and the chalk outlines. This crime scene is made of ones and zeros.
With traditional forensics, investigators are dealing with physical stuff, right? Fingerprints, weapons, paper documents. But in the digital world, the evidence is totally different. It's invisible. It's emails, log files, your browser history. The crime scene isn't a room. It could be an entire global network. And here's the kicker. While it's tough to alter physical evidence without leaving a trace, digital evidence, that can be changed or just poof, erased with a few simple keystrokes.
And you'd be surprised how many roles digital forensics plays. It's not just about tracking down hackers. In the corporate world, it's used all the time to recover lost data after a system crash or maybe to investigate employee misconduct. When a big breach happens, it's the heart of the incident response team, trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. And at the end of the day, all this painstaking work provides the expert testimony that can literally make or break a case in court.
All right, so once we've identified the digital crime scene, the next step is to actually collect the evidence, and this is where things get incredibly strict, because one wrong move, just one little slip-up, can completely destroy the entire case.
So, what exactly is digital evidence? Well, it's basically any piece of information in digital form that can help tell the story. We're talking about everything from emails and social media posts to the files on a hard drive or the call logs on a phone. Every single one is a potential breadcrumb on a long, winding trail.
Now, handling this evidence is like a delicate dance, and you have to follow the rules perfectly. The absolute golden rule: you never work on the original data, ever. Instead, you make a perfect, bit-for-bit copy, a forensic image, and you analyze that. You use special tools that prevent any accidental changes, and you document every single step. This whole strict process is what's needed to maintain something called the chain of custody.
And this is exactly what happens if you don't follow those rules. Just powering on a suspect's computer? That can wipe out crucial temporary data. Just opening a file? That can change its timestamp, totally messing up the timeline of events. One wrong move, one thing you forget to document, and poof, the entire case could get thrown right out of court. The stakes are just incredibly high.
Okay, so we've carefully bagged our digital evidence. Now it's time for the real detective work to begin. We're ready to follow the digital trail.
And this whole process isn't just random guesswork. It's a very structured life cycle. It kicks off with identification. That's finding all the potential places evidence could be hiding. Then comes the really careful work of preservation and collection, which we just talked about. The real meat of the investigation is the examination and analysis, where investigators sift through mountains of data to piece together the story. And finally, everything gets documented meticulously for the final presentation, so it can be explained in a way that's clear and totally defensible.
So I've mentioned this a couple of times, and for a really good reason. The chain of custody is probably the single most important concept in all of forensics, whether it's digital or physical. It's the unbroken, documented log of every single person who has handled the evidence. It has to answer who found it, when, where was it stored, who looked at it. If you can't answer those questions, if that chain is broken, the evidence is basically worthless.
But why is this chain so ridiculously important? Well, it really comes down to three things. First, legal validity. It proves the evidence wasn't messed with. Second, evidence integrity. It guarantees that what's shown in court is exactly what was found at the scene. And finally, there's accountability. It creates a completely transparent trail, which builds trust in the entire investigation.
Of course, none of this is easy. Not by a long shot. Investigators are facing a constant barrage of technical and legal roadblocks, so let's take a look at some of the biggest hurdles they're up against.
First up, the big one, encryption. It's an amazing tool for our own privacy,
But for an investigator, it's the digital version of a locked safe with no combination. If that data is strongly encrypted and they can't get the key, well, that evidence might as well not even exist. It's a huge, huge challenge.
And then there's just the sheer scale of it all. We're not talking about digging through a few files here. We are talking about terabytes, sometimes even petabytes of information. Trying to find one crucial email or a single deleted file in all that, it's literally like searching for a needle in a digital haystack the size of a mountain.
And you have to remember, this isn't a one-sided fight. Investigators are locked in a constant cat-and-mouse game with the bad guys. Attackers are now using what are called anti-forensic tools, software specifically designed to erase, corrupt, or hide their digital tracks, actively trying to throw off anyone who comes looking for them.
And the challenges just keep getting deeper. For instance, where is the data physically located? If it's stored in the cloud, it could be in a server in another country, which creates a legal nightmare of jurisdiction. How do you capture evidence that's in volatile memory, like RAM, which just disappears the second you turn off a computer? And before you even get that far, did you have the proper legal authority, the right warrant, to seize the device in the first place? It is a total minefield of technical and legal problems.
So after navigating all those challenges, after dealing with encryption and mountains of data, how do you take this pile of digital bits and bytes and turn it into something a judge and a jury can actually understand and use? This is the final and absolutely critical step.
It all comes down to what's known as the rule of evidence. You can think of this as the legal playbook. It's a whole set of principles that make sure any evidence presented in court is relevant, that it's reliable, and that it was obtained legally. Its entire purpose is to guarantee a fair trial for everyone involved.
Yeah, so to get any piece of evidence accepted by a court, it has to pass a bunch of tests. First, is it even relevant to the case? Is it admissible? Meaning, was it obtained legally? Can you prove its authenticity? Can you prove it is what you say it is? The entire painstaking forensic process, from the very beginning to the very end, is designed to make sure the evidence can confidently tick every single one of those boxes.
So there you have it. From a chaotic data breach to a structured courtroom presentation, that is the anatomy of a digital investigation. It's a world of immense detail, super strict rules, and incredible challenges. And it really leaves us with one final thought. Every click you make, every file you save, every message you send, it's all part of your digital story. So what story is yours telling?